Now for global business updates, Rotus Oddiri joins us. Good morning, Rotus.
Good morning, Dr. Abasi. Good morning, Vimbai, Rufai, and all our viewers out there. We begin with a quote from Iran's deputy foreign minister. It looks like there's some tensions in the USA-Iran nuclear talks. So here's what he said. He was quoted as, this is Majid Takht Ravanchi. He says, discussions between Iran and the US over Tehran's nuclear program will lead nowhere if Washington insists that Tehran slashes its uranium enrichment activity. I mean, the issue here is Trump is saying you can't have a nuclear weapon. I say, okay, fine, yeah, we won't use it, but we want to enrich uranium. But what else are you using the uranium for? So that's where this and actually oil prices kind of ticked up a tad on this news that there could be, some issues between the both of them. So you see West Texas inching up a bit. Brent crude still in the $65 region. So Asian markets, all the big news is coming out of Asia this morning. It's Asia dominated. So we'll get to China cutting rates in a moment. That actually boosted the markets there. Hong Kong is the story with CATL and their IPO. We'll get to that in a moment. Japan slightly up. Kospi and the Nifty been down. But Australia, Dr. Abasi's quiz for us yesterday actually cut rates. So we'll get to that as well. 58 basis points up over in Australia. So yeah, CATL, the biggest electric vehicle battery manufacturer on earth. They got about, a 38% market share. Debuted on the Hong Kong Stock Exchange early hours of this morning. I actually caught it around 2:30 a.m. this morning. The shares were priced on the higher end, I think they priced them at 236 Hong Kong dollars. It rose about 16% at its peak. The proceeds are about $4.6 billion. I think it is the highest IPO so far this year. They say they're going to use the proceeds to build their factory in Hungary. They are a big customer for Tesla, for Volkswagen, for GM in America, Ford, although America is not really their market because they've been blacklisted by the Pentagon, but they're still doing pretty well. On the back of this story, taking of electric vehicles to Nigeria, story in Nairametrics with respect to China wanting to establish electric vehicle factories. That's Yoon Dinhan, who is the Chinese ambassador to Nigeria, with Dele Alake, the Minister of Minerals, posing there. He's, of course, met with a lot of officials. He's met with President Tinubu. He's met with the governor of Lagos, Sanwo-Olu. China, as you know, has been establishing these outposts in different countries, and they are actually making a concerted effort. I actually took I don't know if you guys have heard of eDrive, which is a subsidiary of Futo, which is a Chinese firm here. They're an electric vehicle company that do rides. They're only on the island in Lagos, but they're going to spread out as long as... They can take you to the mainland if you want. Yeah, and they just need more electric vehicle charging stations in order to do that. And by the way, you guys, while we're on this matter, shout out to Ogun State. I mean, I saw you were talking about the Gateway Games yesterday. These companies, I actually understand there's a battery plant that they are building in Ogun State as well. So the Gateway, Ogun is, the Gateway State. So Ogun State, I mean, all I need is a rail. You just need a high-speed rail from Lagos to Ogun, and you decongest, and people just move over there and you get everything going.
I'll be coming to work every day from
I move to Ogun State and take my electric car, park it, and use it. Here's a quote from the ambassador. It says Chinese companies are already significantly involved in Nigeria's mining sector, from exploration to processing. And then he proceeds to talk about further plans and how that ties into what the administration has been trying to do, saying that we aim to deepen this collaboration, especially in line with President Tinubu's 8-point agenda, which includes economic diversification to developing of solid minerals. Getting to the decision later today, which is in Nigeria, the MPC decision. I think I'll get 1 out of 2. I didn't get Australia, but I should get Nigeria. Get this one. They should hold. I expect them to hold because inflation has been decelerating. So we'll get that at 2 p.m. later this afternoon. Back to Asia. China cut rates, the 1-year loan prime rate 3% from 3.1, 5-year 3.5, 3.6. This affects households and businesses. And then Australia as well. They actually cut this morning 25 basis points, 3.85. Inflation has been coming down. That's, of course, their governor of the Reserve Bank there, Susan Mioch, I think. So yeah, that's our update for today.
I mean, it just shows the way China is going with this technology, and they're, upscaling things. Apart from even electric powered cars, Also, there's a lot of hybrid cars coming in.
Yeah.
While I was coming back from the airport from Abidjan, I took Shuttlers, .ng, and they had a particular car that I did order there. That was a hybrid car, electric powered car, and also petrol using, but very, very efficient because it was, hybrid. And apart from that, most of these Chinese companies are beginning to even set up factories here. Most of them are beginning to be assembled here, although they started by bringing some of them in, but they're opening up this potential. You see, I think where Nigeria can tap in is, and this is a solution, there should be a level of skills transfer. Government should be able to fund hackathons in this sector, to be able to fund Nigerian-owned businesses. I think there should be a tech investment bank to be able to support Nigerian businesses that will be playing in the battery sector and all of that. I want to open out of Nasarawa where you have lithium, or other parts of Nigeria that you have lithium. Also, most of the people that have been corrupt, that have stolen money, they should bring an Amnesty National Development Port where they can bring all the stolen money. And inside,
money is gone now.
We can see Rotus.
They put it offshore.
Rather than that money, no, a lot of them are seeing sewage tanks. Rather than you see millions of dollars in sewage tanks and everything, they should put it in investment ports, and they can use that money to jumpstart the economy and all of that. Also, training a great deal. There should be a lot of skills transfer with training and all of that. By today, we should be making real. I thought Minister Amechi, when he was the former minister then, said we're going to have a university where they teach people transport and all of that and make it real. By today, we should be able to make our own rail carcass and everything. I believe if we do everything right, this country can be a superpower in the next 20, 30 years. It's possible. We can do it.
Possible. It's very possible. I'll start with China. I was watching this documentary where they were talking about how the new strategy around the EVs is no longer to just sort of like produce and export and push them out there. They're now looking at each region specifically and ensuring that the models that are invented with the intricacies specific for those regions. So them also coming to manufacture is part of that broader strategy that you see that for them, it's not just about, churning out Teslas.
Right.
It's about, okay, how can we ensure that the cars that we're creating are specifically modeled for the environment that they'll operate in. But I think also congratulations is deserved to the Minister of Solid Minerals, Dele Alake, because he's working silently, but he's moving.
We've been hard on him here.
We've been very hard on him, so that's why I think it's important to balance it out. They've brought in almost 7 billion naira in licensing fees just over the past few months alone. My only criticism, though, is the establishment of the Nigeria Minerals Board Corporation, which is supposed to be a government arm that will get involved in the sector. I don't think government has any business being involved in mining. Right? The other thing is that they say that about 7,000 mining licenses have been offered, but only less than 1,000 mines operational under those licenses. So still a lot of work to do, but kudos for the work being done.
He's working. Dele Alake is working.
No, he's working.
Some very quick comments on China and also maybe the United Kingdom. On China, now the lending rates, the benchmark rates that have been reduced, 1 year LPR, as you said, from 3.1 to 3.0, 5 year LPR from 3.6 to 3.5. Now, this has been made possible because the yuan, the offshore yuan, has become stronger against a weakening dollar. And then two, the relaxation of trade tensions has given the People's Bank of China an opportunity, to do a little more monetary easing, a little more stimulus, thinking that this will stimulate economic growth. The projection in China is that there will be a growth of about around 5% this year. Whether that can be achieved or not remains to be seen. Two, China is still facing deflation, weak demand, and all of that. And it is because of that that people are saying modest rates adjustments may not really jumpstart the economy. What is required will be more on the fiscal policy side. But what we see is that China taking advantage of this strengthening of the yuan and the relaxation of trade tensions. Number two, now there is customs fraud with regard to exports, imports from China. Chinese authorities are now doing what they call illegal transshipment. They are doing under-invoicing. They are doing delivery, tariff paid, and all of that. But the experts are saying that, yes, while this may put pressure on U.S. customs, if they are caught, there could be civic and criminal charges involved. But what is clear is that exporters from China are trying to find a way around, Donald Trump's tariffs. Yeah. So those Donald Trump's tariffs, they are not as foolproof as we think they are. As for CATL, ironically, in January, the U.S. Department of Commerce put CATL on the entities list. Yep. CATL denied and all of that. Now, the same CATL is doing well on the Hong Kong Stock Exchange. You said the stocks rose by 16%, right? Yep. They are also listed on Shenzhen, Exchange. Yeah. They are also there. But the other issue with China has to do with the fact that Huawei is being targeted in terms of chips.
The chips, yeah.
And China Commerce Department is complaining that, this is discriminatory and it is unfair. Finally, UK is been able to do some deals
post-Brexit
with the European Union.
There's no deal there yet.
Over
just talks.
Over energy, security,
fishing,
movement of persons, and other relations, including fishing.
Yes.
Other details will be worked out.
Indeed.
Thank you very much,
Thank you.
Rotus.
Thank you.